Peace, love, joy, my YouTube family. We'll continue our scripture reading. We are at Matthew chapter 8, and this is coming out of the Everyday Life Bible, the Amplified Version. Reading is as follows. When Jesus came down from the mountain, great throngs followed him. And behold, a leper came up to him, and prostrating himself, worshipped him, saying, Lord, if you are willing, you are able to cleanse me by curing me. And he reached out his hand and touched him, saying, I am willing, be cleansed by being cured. And instantly his leprosy was cured and cleansed. And Jesus said to him, see that you tell nothing about this to anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest and present the offering that Moses commanded for a testimony and as an evidence to the people. As Jesus went into Capernaum, a centurion came up to him begging him and saying, Lord, my servant boy is lying at the house paralyzed and distressed with intense pains. And Jesus said to him, I will come and restore him. But the centurion replied to him, Lord, I am not worthy or fit to have you come under my roof, but only speak the word, and my servant boy will be cured. For I also am a man subject to authority, with soldiers subject to me. As I say to one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my slave, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard him, he marveled and said to those who followed him, I tell you truly, I have not found so much faith in this with anyone, even in Israel. I tell you, many will come from east and west and will sit at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, while the sons of the heirs of the kingdom will be driven out into the darkness outside, where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. Then to the centurion Jesus said, go, it shall be done for you as you have believed. And the servant boy was restored to health at that very moment. And when Jesus went into Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying ill with a fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she got up and began waiting on him. When evening came, they brought to him many who were under the power of demons, and he drove out the spirits with a word, and restored to health all who were sick. And thus he fulfilled what was spoken by the prophet Isaiah. He himself took in order to carry away our weaknesses and infirmities and bore away our diseases. Now Jesus, when he saw the great throngs around him, gave orders to cross to the other side of the lake. And a scribe came up and said to him, Master, I will accompany you wherever you go. And Jesus replied to him, foxes have holes and the birds of the air have lodging places, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Another of the disciples said to him, Lord, let me first go and buried my father. But Jesus said to him, follow me and leave the dead to bury their own dead. And after he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. And suddenly, behold, there arose a violent storm on the sea, so that the boat was being covered up by waves while he was sleeping. And they went and wakened him, saying, Lord, rescue and preserve us, we are perishing. And he said to them, why are you so timid and afraid, O you of little faith? Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great and wonderful calm. And the men were stunned with bewildered wonder and marveled, saying, what kind of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? And when he arrived at the other side in the country of the Gerasenes, two men under the control of demons went to meet him, coming out of the tomb so fierce and savage that no one was able to pass that way. And behold, they shrieked and screamed, what have we to do with you, Jesus, Son of God? Have you come to torment us before the appointed time? Now at some distance from there, a drove of many hogs were grazing, and the demon begged him, if they drove him out, if you drove us out, send us into the drove of hogs. And he said to them, be gone. So they came out and went into the hogs, and behold, the whole drove rushed down the steep bank and into the sea and died in the water. The herdsmen fled and went into the town and reported everything, including what had happened to the men under the power of demons. And behold, the whole town went out to meet Jesus, and as soon as they saw him, they begged him to depart from their locality. Here ends the reason for tonight. Have a great night, my family.